Without the people who fought for justice throughout our history, we all wouldn't be sitting in this room together today. The Civil Rights era created a foundation in society for basic human rights, and the fact that the undermined races chose to stand up and boycott the way they're being treated. I've taken interest in social activist groups for my whole life because I believe in equality regardless of race, gender, or sexual orientation. Ella Baker dedicated her life to multiple social activist groups so that humans could live in a world where equality did not have to be fought for. I plan to cover how Ella Baker's participation in the NAACP, SCLC, and other small organizations positively affected the Civil Rights era and how she was the stepping stone in showing that anyone can make a difference. Before we discuss Ella Baker's mark on history, we must first see where she began her journey. Ella Baker's upbringing was a key role in her interest in social activist organizations. Born on December 13, 1903, Baker grew up with her grandmother educating her on her personal accounts with slavery and how she was held captive, tortured, and fought her way out of an unwanted marriage, according to the Ella Baker biography published in July of 2014 on the A&E Network's website. Baker's grandmother fought every second she was held captive for slavery, which seems to relate to where Baker acquired her resilience, as explained in the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, published in 2017 in the article Who is Ella Baker? After graduating valedictorian of her high school, Baker's interest in social activist groups rose, which is when she decided to take part in the NAACP. Ella Baker began her role in the NAACP as a field secretary, which required a fair amount of travel. Baker traveled all over the country to recruit common people to join the association, according to the Ella Baker biography. Baker raised many funds for the organization, helping it grow vastly over the course of about 4 years. In 1946, which was roughly 6 years after accepting the field secretary position, Baker became the national director of branches for the NAACP. She became the first female in the leadership position among any social activist organizations, which showed her resilience and her passion for her work. Unfortunately, Baker's time with the NAACP was cut short due to a family responsibility that she had to take care of from the article Who is Ella Baker? At the end of her time with the organization, Baker had managed to assemble many forces from numerous smaller groups and fought with mayors of towns to end segregation in schools. After Baker's phenomenal record with the NAACP came to an end, she then felt she could be making a larger impact with higher caliber groups. Ella Baker joined forces with Martin Luther King Jr. and many others in the SCLC, or the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. The SCLC was assembled around the time of the Montgomery bus boycott with Rosa Parks because the activists wanted a more conventional boycott, according to the article Southern Christian Leadership Conference, published in 2014. Although MLK was the sole leader of the group, according to the Barbara Ramsey in her book Ella Baker and the Black Freedom Movement, Baker was the person organizing and planning the group's agenda, from Who is Ella Baker? Baker was more interested in the structure and the growth of the organization rather than the people leading it. With her fiery passion for justice and equality, Baker and MLK apparently butt heads during the meetings regarding the path the organization should take. While Baker's mind was set on the big picture, she inadvertently set up an organization through an event with the SCLC called the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, which helped many students peacefully protest. After Ella Baker's work with the SNCC, she continued to work with smaller organizations before passing on her 83rd birthday, December 13, 1986. Ella Baker was raised from the beginning with a passion for equality and justice. Although she had to start her journey from the bottom, she rose with challenging work and dedication because of her willingness to pursue justice. Baker traveled, recruited, and protested throughout her career with various social activist groups. Her most remembered work was with the NAACP, the SCLC, and the SNCC. Her quote, "Strong people don't need strong leaders," is the epitome of her character. She wanted to be the missing pieces of the puzzle to make a good organization a great one. Ella Baker dedicated her life to multiple social activist groups so that humans could live in a world where equality did not have to be fought for. Without Ella Baker and many other civil rights activists, the world as we know it would not be the same, and for that she will go down in history as one of the greatest social activist members of all time. I used a various amount of sources from images to articles that I have referenced on the next 2 pages.